Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Technology and Fitness, part of the National Hemophilia Foundation's Make Your Move Physical Therapy webinar series. This new series is supported by a cooperative agreement from the Center for Disease Control and Prevention. Our presenter this evening is Debbie Voss. Debbie Voss, PT, DPT, ATC, CSCF, has been a physical therapist for over 20 years and has worked in the bleeding disorders community since 2006. While a physical therapist at the Hemophilia Center of Western Pennsylvania, she was actively involved in Camp Hot to Clot, the Western Pennsylvania camp for children affected by bleeding. In addition to being a licensed physical therapist, she is also a certified athletic trainer and holds certification as a strength and conditioning specialist. Welcome, Debbie.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Our program will conclude with a question and answer segment. And to ask a question, you would go down to the area on the far left lower area of your webinar screen and type your question into the field just left up to the send button, which is located in the pod or area labeled chat. Click on the send button when you have finished typing your question. However, please note that your question will be addressed during the question and answer session at the end of the presentation. The PowerPoint presentation will be available as a handout. However, a recording of this webinar will be available shortly on the National Hemophilia Foundation website, www.hemophilia.org. For more information and to view the video from this presentation, please be sure to visit www.stepsforliving.hemophilia.org. And without further ado, I will turn things over to Debbie.
Thank you, Kelly. I'm glad everybody was able to take some time tonight to join into this webinar. I know that this is a busy time of year with kids getting back to school and fall happening and football, so I appreciate your taking the time to join. Tonight we're going to talk a little bit about technology and its use in your fitness program. Some of what you learn tonight will probably be some review, but hopefully there will be some new information to also take away from this. So the objectives for tonight's webinar include what we are going to discuss the role that technology can play in helping you to stay active. We're going to look at some of the different types of fitness apps and online tools that are out there available to use as part of your fitness routine. And then we're going to get a little bit personal where everybody can start to identify one goal for their own personal fitness routine that incorporates some technology. Maybe something specific that we talk about tonight, or just using some of what the information that we share tonight to find some other technology tools. So when we talk about fitness, what exactly do we mean by fitness? And I think with this, a lot of people understand that there are certain aspects of physical health or physical fitness, but there are also some aspects of holistic fitness, which includes some non-physical aspects. So typical physical fitness components include things like cardiovascular health, and that just means how strong your heart and your lungs are. It may include muscular health, how strong your muscles are, how well they can support your joints, how well they enable you to move. We also consider flexibility as part of the physical fitness component. Can my joints move through a full range of motion to allow me to do functional activity as part of flexibility? Then there's something that's called body composition, and really what that means is looking at the amount of healthy muscular tissue, or what we call lean muscle mass, versus the amount of body fat that we have. And it's important that everyone has a certain amount of fat within their body, but there are standard guidelines that are considered to be healthy amounts of body fat versus unhealthy in relation to the amount of muscle mass that someone has. So those are kind of the physical components of fitness. But I want to make sure that everybody understands there are other non-physical components that are just as important to create a well-rounded fitness routine. One aspect might be the social aspect of fitness. You know, we as human beings are very social creatures. We like to connect with people, we like to interact with people, and having that aspect as part of your fitness routine is very important. Then there's also the mental or emotional component of fitness. Looking at whether someone is really stressed out or able to handle their stress well, if you're tired all the time, or maybe you feel really energetic, all of those components of your mental and emotional well-being also play into your overall fitness. So as we go through some of the webinar tonight, we're going to talk about some of those different aspects and ways that you can address those. So I would expect that this is pretty much reviewed for most people when we talk about the benefits of exercise. This just sort of hits the tip of the iceberg, but I wanted to make sure that we address some of these directly here. Benefits of exercise can help you to control weight. Whether you are at a healthy weight for you, exercise can help you to maintain it. Some people may feel that they need to lose weight, so exercise can play a huge role in helping them to lose weight, or some people may even feel like they need to gain weight. They may not have enough lean muscle mass, and the right types of exercise can help them to gain healthy weight. We also know from a lot of research studies that regular exercise can reduce the risk of certain types of health problems, including heart disease, stroke, diabetes, and certain types of cancer. Regular exercise can also improve mood. A lot of studies have looked at people who have mild depression symptoms and the effect of doing regular exercise, the effect that that exercise has on their depressive symptoms. And we know that regular physical activity or exercise can help people to manage some of their symptoms of mild depression. The next one I think is interesting, that regular exercise can boost energy, which may seem a little bit, counter to what you would think. You think, I go work out, I'm tired after it. How in the world can that possibly boost my energy when I'm tired after doing it? But we know that with regular physical exercise, that your body actually gets more efficient at doing its activity. And the more that you are able to exercise and build up your body's ability to do things, the more energy you have for doing your day-to-day activities. Regular exercise has also been shown to promote better sleep. And I think this can happen a couple of ways. If you physically go out and you work your body so you're physically tired at the end of the night, it's easier to fall asleep. Also, if you're using exercise to help manage some of your stress, it may be easier to fall asleep and then also stay asleep if you're not feeling quite so stressed. The next aspect about keeping joints healthy is particularly important for members of the bleeding disorders community. We know that if you do regular exercise and the right kinds of exercise, it can keep your joints mobile, it can keep your muscles strong to support your joints, and we even know from some of the studies that regular physical activity and exercise helps to reduce the risk of developing spontaneous joint bleeds. And then finally, we kind of look at some of those non-physical aspects of exercise and the fun and social activity part of exercise. It allows you a way to interact with people and to form some connections as you're doing these fun and social activities that are geared around exercise and physical activity. So now we're going to get a little personal here, and I just would like everybody to sort of think about what we're looking at here with this next slide. So it asks about fitness and you, and what I'm asking everybody to do is just take a moment and think about which of the following best describes your current thoughts on fitness. And here's 4 options. No one may fit exactly, but I want you to try to find the one that you think might be a good fit. So number 1, I would like to be, quote, more fit, but I'm not sure what to do. Number 2, I'm on the path to fitness, but I'm looking for other ways to exercise. Number 3, I am looking for motivation to get or to stay fit. And then number 4, I already use technology to get fit, but I am looking for some new ideas. So we're just looking for people to give some idea as to where they may be within this, whether they're at the very beginning, not quite sure what to do, or they're looking for some new ideas. And we can just take a minute here to think about that, because that's going to be important as we're trying to make some goals later on. All right, so if you consider that as we start to move forward and we look back at some of the other uses of technology here, what I want you to consider is that I've kind of broken it down into the 3 T's of technology and fitness. So most apps and online tools are designed to do one of these 3 things. They're designed to either teach, to train, or to track. And many apps will actually do more than one of these things, but each one tends to focus on one a little bit more than the other. So we're going to talk about what these 3 things mean within technology and fitness. So for apps that are designed to teach, what that means is these apps help you to learn specific exercises and how to correctly perform those exercises. They may also teach you how to safely progress your exercise program and start to recognize if maybe you're doing too much too soon, or you may be setting yourself up for some potential injury. Teaching apps also help you to understand the benefits of certain types of exercise. Just like we talked about, there are different types of physical fitness components like cardiovascular health versus muscular health. Certain exercise programs can help to address these types of physical fitness. And then finally, teaching apps can help you to develop a well-rounded fitness routine. 3 of the tools that I'm going to look at tonight that I consider to be teaching apps or tools are the MedBridge Go app, some fitness logs by both the American College of Sports Medicine and the National Academy of Sports Medicine, and then a meditation app called Take a Break app. And what I want to mention with a lot of the tools that we're going to talk about tonight, most of these are either no cost or very low cost apps. When you go out there and start looking, there are a lot of free apps to try, and that's what I normally recommend that you start with, because you can kind of search through some and find ones that you like and ones that you don't like. So if we look first at the MedBridge Go app, this is an app that I actually use in the clinic with my patients when I have developed specific and customized exercise programs for the individual. They can go onto their smartphone with this app and pull up their exercise program. And you can see from the screenshot, not only is there a little video play button where they can actually see the exercise being performed, but there is a verbal description of how to correctly do that exercise. And within this app, it will tell the individual perhaps how long to hold a stretch, how many repetitions to do, how many times a day to do that, and then they can also log on there that they completed their exercise program for that particular time. Now, this is just one of many exercise teaching apps. If you go to a physical therapy clinic or go to a gym and you're working with someone, you may ask them if they have particular apps that they use to help to develop a custom program for you that you can refer to when you're outside of the clinic or the gym. The next teaching tool are some of the fitness blogs. And again, the ones that I chose are from the American College of Sports Medicine and the National Academy of Sports Medicine. Now, I want to caution you with this because there are lots and lots of fitness blogs out there. And some of them are very high quality. Some really are not so high quality. So I want you to be very selective as to those blogs that you choose to read and try to get your information from. These are 2 reputable organizations which put out some quality information that is based on science. And when I recently had gone on to their sites, some of the blog topics that were out there included exercise tips for fall prevention, what's in your bottle, looking at hydration, drinking water versus drinking some of the sports drinks, staying independent in later life and the role of physical activity in midlife, and then a little bit of information about the science of exercise. So these 2 organizations in particular are frequently putting out new blogs for information to help people to learn about exercise, and they do it based upon the science. And then here's a little component about the non-physical components of fitness, a meditation app called Take a Break. Again, this is one that I like and I recommend to a lot of my patients, particularly if they've never tried meditation before, because they have 2 different versions that you can try with this app. There's a 7-minute guided meditation and a 13-minute guided meditation. And you can even choose some background noise that you want to listen to. But basically, you start this app, you put in your earbuds, and you listen to the guided meditation to kind of take you through a relaxing path. And again, we know from studies that regular meditation can help people to reduce stress. It's been shown to help people reduce their anxiety and reduce their pain. And I think that pain aspect, again, is particularly important within the bleeding disorders community. When people have bleeds, there's a lot of pain associated with that. There's also pain with chronic joint changes. So working on some regular meditation to help to manage pain can be a very effective tool. Also, as far as stress relief, we know that regular meditation can help people to sleep better. Now, what I want to make sure that people understand is, with meditation, it's not a matter of one time listening to a particular guided meditation and going, wow, that was just a life changer. It takes regular practice with meditation for it to become effective, but I think in the long run, if you devote even just a few minutes a day, it can really pay off. All right, so we covered some of the teaching apps. So now let's move forward into some of the training apps. And what we mean by training are apps and certain videos that provide specific workout programs that you can exercise along with. And also as part of the training apps, there may be music or motivational apps that you can listen to during exercise. So 3 options that I'm going to cover under the training tools include some videos, not only the NHF videos, but also some YouTube videos. There are some podcasts that are out there, including the Prevention Magazine Interval Walking podcast. And then music while you're exercising, we're going to talk about the Pandora radio app. So you may or may not be aware that NHF actually produced some exercise videos, and they're called the Make Your Move videos. There are currently 3 that are available, and they are using Tai Chi as an exercise session, yoga, and also dance. And a couple things that are really cool about these videos are they are led by members of the bleeding disorders community. So they're by people who are involved within the community and understand what it's important to be a part of this community. As you can see from the screenshot here, one of the participants in this Tai Chi class is actually sitting in a chair. So these videos also allow you to have some modifications as you're going through these to make it safe for you to participate within the class no matter what your current situation is. I also want to talk about some YouTube exercise videos. Now, just like with some of the fitness blogs, I want you to be really, really picky as to which ones you decide that you want to try. Because some of them are really high quality exercise videos and some not so much, where you just may increase your risk for injury versus trying to get more fit. One YouTube channel in particular, again, that I use and I recommend to a lot of my patients who are interested in trying yoga is this one, Yoga with Adrienne. Adrienne puts out new videos pretty much every week, and she has hundreds of videos to choose from, shortest ones being maybe 5 minutes, some are over an hour. Typical video in her series is somewhere between about 25 and 30 minutes. And you can even search within her channel. Let's say you're looking for a yoga program that you can do at your desk at work. Maybe you want one that's going to relax you at night. Maybe you need one that's going to work a little bit more on hip flexibility. You can search within her channel and find lots of options. Adrienne is also really good about providing modifications during her workouts. One of the things that she frequently says is find what feels good. So she emphasizes that you really tune into what your body's telling you throughout this and learn to experience what your body's telling you. So don't always try to get into this perfect form or yoga shape, but use yoga as a way to explore what your body is telling you and to find ways to relax and move with your body. Then we have some podcasts. So some podcasts are just strictly educational, where they're kind of telling a story to teach you a lesson. This interval walking podcast is one that I like because for people who just use walking as a regular exercise program, it can help to take your walking program to the next level. So it has background music, and there is someone speaking along with it as you are walking at this regular pace. But then every few minutes, it kind of bumps up the intensity for 30 to 60 seconds. So you do this faster walking to increase your heart rate and your breathing rate to get a little more boost out of your walking program. And this particular podcast has both a beginner and an advanced level. So it's a way to increase the intensity of your walking without too much intensity, but to get more out of the time that you spend walking. And then finally, the Pandora app. And probably most people have heard of this if they haven't used it. And things that I really like about the Pandora app is you can search and create some of your own channels based upon the music that you like. But it was only after I had been digging in this app for a little bit that I realized they actually have a workout channel. So you can go to this workout channel and say, today I'm going to be running or I'm going to be doing yoga, and it will pull up a whole variety of music set to the tempo of that particular activity. So if you've not used this before in Pandora, I highly recommend it. And even if you find within this workout channel certain artists that you like, you can then create some of your own custom stations from that. All right, so we covered some of the teaching apps and tools, some of the training apps and tools, and now we're going to talk about tracking tools. And I think this is the aspect that most people think of when they think about technology and fitness. They think about some of the wearable activity monitors, right? Like the pedometers and the things that you wear that tell you how active you are during the day. But there are some other tools out there, including some GPS-based trackers that are typically used as a watch or on your smartphone. Many of these trackers also allow you to create social groups or groups of friends where you can see how much activity they're doing and they can see how much you're doing to create a little bit of healthy competition. And then another great tracking tool is looking at some of the food logs or the food diaries. so you can sort of get an idea of calories in and calories out throughout your day. So the three areas of tools that we're going to talk about under tracking are the Fitbit tracker and app, the MapMyRun app, and the MyFitnessPal app. Now, Fitbit is probably one of the most popular activity trackers out there. They actually have a number of versions, and each of them has slightly different features. They all will sync with the smartphone app, which you see the screenshot here, or they even have a way that you can just sync it with the web page on your laptop. But many times they consist of like this bracelet-type device, which at the very minimum tends to count your steps during the day. Some features on certain tracking devices will also show how active you are throughout the day. If you wear it when you're sleeping, it'll tell you how long you sleep and the quality of your sleep. And again, you can sync these devices with the smartphone apps or with the web page on your laptop regularly, so you can track how much activity that you're doing. If you can see from the screenshot toward the bottom right, you can see a little tab that says Friends. Again, you can invite other people so you can see how much activity they're getting, they can see how much you're getting, so you can challenge them, and it makes a fun competition. You can also motivate one another that way. One particular example that I use with this, my daughters and I at dinner each night would pull up how many steps we had had during that day and sort of have a mini competition over dinner to see who had been most active that day. So it was always fun to see who had gotten the most steps, but many times it also kind of let us know that if none of us reached our goal for that particular day, that we were going to go out after dinner and try to get more steps in order to meet our goal for that day. Then we also have the, oops, sorry, skipped ahead, the MapMyRun app. And there is also an app that's called MapMyWalk. So you can use this for either walking or running. But basically you engage it on your smartphone when you go out for a walk or a run, and it will actually track the route that you are taking on a map. So it will automatically figure out how far you went and also the amount of time that it took. You can save some of these routes to use for future exercise, or one thing that's really cool, if you put in the area where you're located, it will pull up some routes that other people have saved that they have gone on. So it can give you some new options for walking or running paths and look at different amounts of time that people have taken to do those. The MapMyRun also has a feature that allows you to track your progress if you are training for a particular race. Say you want to walk or run your first 5K or a half marathon. It has a way that it can cumulatively track the amount of activity that you're doing to see if you are on track for the training program for your particular race. And then there's MyFitnessPal, and this particular one that I'm showing here is the calorie counting app for the MyFitnessPal. MyFitnessPal has been around a long time, and it's really one of the classics that's out there, and it has continued to grow and evolve as time has gone on. Primarily, it is used as a food tracking or a food diary device where you can put in the food that you have eaten during the day, and it'll calculate how many calories you have eaten and potentially, based upon your goals, how many calories you have left for the day. One way that this app has really evolved is it used to be when it started you would have to sort of type in on the little screen, this is the amount of food that I had, and then it would calculate the nutrition aspect of that food. It's gotten to the point now where you can use the camera on your smartphone to simply scan the food label, and it will automatically import the nutrition information about that food. You just have to put in, did I eat 1 serving or 2 servings, however many. It has a feature within this app also where you can put in the amount of exercise. So it kind of looks at how many calories have you burned during doing that particular exercise. And the MyFitnessPal app also connects with many other fitness apps where if you do exercise using another fitness app, it can pull that information into this calorie counting app to, again, get an idea of not only how many calories you're taking in with food, but how many calories you're burning during your exercise session. All right, so as everybody starts to think about what their particular goals are with fitness, basically if you start to look within these 3 areas that we talked about, teach, train, or track, you want to see where you're starting with this and where you feel like you might be able to develop a goal. Then go out there to the App Store, whether you have an Apple device or an Android device, and start searching. I want to warn you, you're going to be overwhelmed because there are hundreds and hundreds of options to choose from. So when you start this journey, please leave enough time. Don't think I'm going to sit down for 30 minutes and find the apps that I'm going to use. Many times this may be a many-day to a many-week sort of commitment to find apps that you like. So download them, and again, I always say start with the free ones first because sometimes I've downloaded apps, opened them, and within 5 minutes say, that's not one that I like, I'm going to delete it. But some of them, if I really like it and I want to be able to have more features or to go without the ads, I may then go for the version where you have to pay a little bit of money. But play with the free ones first. Once you find apps that you like, really start to dig into some of the features because many times features are kind of hidden, and it's not until you get in there and start playing with it and look at a lot of the different options and how it might connect with other apps, can you really start to use that app to your full potential. So if you think that some of your goals might be related to using the teaching apps, you might be thinking, maybe I want to learn, I don't know, how to do specific exercises, or how do I know how to develop a plan that's just right for me based upon what I want to get out of it. I think it's very important to understand how do I avoid injury, right? Or how do I start to recognize if I am developing an injury. And ultimately, the more that I can learn about developing fitness and doing it the right way, the more that you can improve your chance for success. If your goal might be related a little more to some of the training apps, you may want to be able to have some exercise programs that you can perform when and where you want. If you have your smartphone with you or you have a laptop and internet access, you can decide when you're going to exercise and where you're going to exercise. Maybe there are new exercise programs that you want to do. Let's say, for example, you belong to a gym and you know that they have a class there of Zumba, but you've never done Zumba. Sometimes it can be a little intimidating to go into a new gym class where everyone else knows the moves and you haven't yet learned them. So using some of the training apps or videos in the privacy of your own home allows you to try some of these new exercise programs, get an idea for the movements, decide if you like it before you would go into a class situation. And then some of the training tools, again, allow you to personalize your program. Say that you want to get stronger. If you use some of the videos that are out there, you may be able to use kettlebells, or you may be able to just use body weight or dumbbells or elastic bands. So depending upon what you want to use as part of your program, you can really personalize the way that you're exercising based upon some training tools out there. And then finally, if you think that your goal might be related to the tracking, it's really nice to be able to see your progress, not only what you do on a day-to-day basis, but also over weeks or months to see how the activity change that you do can really make an effect on your fitness level. If you want to consider having friends and a social support, using some of the tracking tools are awesome. Again, setting up those healthy competitions, seeing who can do the most in a day in a healthy way, being able to encourage others as they encourage you to reach your goals. And ultimately, I think a lot of these tracking tools are really fun and a fun way to reach your fitness goals. So with this, if everyone just takes a few minutes, whether it's during this webinar or after or tomorrow, to kind of pare it down as to what you feel like some of your goals are related to fitness, and think about ways that you might be able to use some technology in order to achieve what your goal is within fitness. So thank you everybody for joining in tonight. I don't know if anyone has had any questions, but Kelly, if there are any questions, we can go over those.
All right, thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, to ask a question via the web presentation, select the chat pod located in the lower left corner of your screen, then type and send your question. If you would like to ask a question live via your phone, press *1 on your telephone keypad. I will announce each caller prior to bringing you into the conference. Please remember, if you have your phone on mute, take it off mute when you are selected to ask your question. Once again, to ask a question via the web presentation, select the chat pod located in the lower left corner of your screen, and then type and send your question. And to ask a question live, press *1 on your telephone keypad. I have a quick question. The Fitbit, you had mentioned that it tracks your sleeping. How does it determine whether you've had a good sleep or not?
Basically, it detects how much movement that you have during the course of the evening if you are wearing it, and it can not only distinguish between just restless sleep, but like physically if you get out of bed in the middle of the night, it can detect that change in activity, and you can actually see this visual representation for how much you moved or how much you got up during the night. So it will track not only the time that you started sleeping, the time that you woke up, but then the activity that you had during the night.
Interesting.
It's a pretty cool little feature.
Is it? What other sort of features are on the Fitbit? I've heard really good things about it.
Again, depending upon the particular Fitbit model that you get, some have very basic features, some are pretty elaborate. Other good ones look at, if you say, I want to be active for 12 hours during the day, it will give you little reminders if you have not reached a certain threshold of, say, 250 steps within a particular hour. It may buzz to kind of give you a little reminder on your wrist, oh yeah, I need to get up and move a little bit. So I think the Fitbit is a really awesome way if you're looking just to get more active in a non-invasive way where you don't have to necessarily set aside a whole lot of extra time to exercise. It gives you these little reminders during the day just to get up and move, because all of that activity adds up ultimately to help you with your fitness routine.
Well, great. Thank you. It looks like we don't have any further questions. I'll turn it back to you, Deborah, to see if you have any other points you would like to make, or even maybe there's questions that you've come across in the past that you would like to bring up. Go ahead. We have a few minutes to go.
All right. Well, I think bottom line with a lot of this, I was very excited when I was asked many months ago to present this information, but I quickly found out that this area of technology and fitness is really just exploded, and it's growing, and there are changes that are happening literally every day and every week. So again, with that, when you go out there and start to look at some of the apps and some of the tools, even if this week you say, I can't find anything that really fits, that really appeals to me, that seems to work for me, go out again next week or next month and look again, because new features and new apps and new tools are constantly coming out. And again, on one end, sometimes that feels very overwhelming because there are so many options to choose from. But in another way, it's a great way to find different and novel and exciting new ways to incorporate some of this technology into your fitness routine, to make it fun, to make it engaging, to keep you moving, and ultimately our hope is to keep you healthy.
Great. Thank you very much. And ladies and gentlemen, your feedback is critical to us, not only in evaluating this presentation, but in the planning of future webinars. Just one moment. There we go. Please complete this 5-minute survey appearing on your screen now by clicking on the link. For each webinar in this series that you attend, completing an evaluation will enter you for a chance to win a Fitbit at the end of the series. Attend and evaluate more than one webinar to increase your chances of winning. Thank you for attending, and this concludes our program. Have a great night.